Hello, this presentation is about the government creating a public electricity utility plant using recycled municipal solid waste, MSW or garbage, and converting it into fuel to supply electricity to the public to create revenue. The government is already in the business of providing a utility service of supplying water and sewage. 98% of Americans are supplied water by a public utility and pay a utility bill to the government. The reason that the government controls the water supply are because of sanitation, keeping water safe, and it keeps the cost down for the public of being supplied water. The government can do the same by supplying electricity at a reduced cost to the public and create revenue in return. The government has what is called the economy of scales to start an electricity utility service. Economy of scales are the competitive advantages that large entities have over smaller ones. The larger the business, nonprofit, or government, the lower its per unit cost. It can spread fixed costs like administration over more units of production. An example would be that the government already has an infrastructure to collect garbage and has the ability to obtain an energy plant at a low cost because it already owns a lot of buildings and can convert one into an electricity plant at a low cost. It will cost little to start an energy business opposed to a startup company that has to invest a larger amount of capital into starting an infrastructure to collect garbage and buy a plant. Later in the presentation, I will talk about the cost analysis of government starting an energy plant. Will there be enough waste to sustain an electricity plant? The latest figure that I found from the U.S. Energy Information Administration about how much waste is generated in the United States is a 2015 figure that says about 262 tons of municipal solid waste, MSW or garbage, were generated in the United States, of which 52.5% was landfilled, 25.8% was recycled, and 12.8% was burned with energy recovery, and 8.9% was composted. So, how can government turn this waste into energy to make electricity? The technology already exists. A waste-to-energy plant makes steam out of garbage to make electricity. MSW is usually burned at a special waste-to-energy plant that uses the heat from the fire to make steam for generating electricity or to heat buildings. In 2016, 71 U.S. power plants generated about 14 billion kilowatt hours of electricity from burning about 30 million tons of combustible MSW, which is biomass material or biogenic plant or animal products, materials such as paper, cardboard, food waste, grass clippings, leaves, wood, and leather products, which accounted for about 64% of the weight of the combustible MSW and for about 51% of the electricity generated. The remainder of combustible MSW was non-biomass combustible material, mainly plastic. Many large landfills also generated electricity by using the methane gas that is produced from decomposing biomass in landfills. What will be the cost for government to start a public utility electricity plant? The University of Columbia did a cost analysis of what it would cost a business to start an electricity energy plant. The capital investment required to build a facility was estimated at about $420 million US dollars, and the operating costs at about $22 million US dollars per year. Because of the economy of scale, the government already has an infrastructure in place. The cost would probably be cut in half for government to about $210 million US dollars to build a plant with lower operating costs. The cost-benefit analysis of a WTE plant for government. The WTE plant will export to the grid 0.6 megawatts hours of electricity per ton of waste incinerated. That is 380 gigawatt of electricity per year. This electricity generation will translate into approximately $350 million US dollars for revenue per year for plant. Who will benefit from the government recycling MSW into electricity? Over a 20-year span, the waste-to-energy facility can provide a revenue stream from the sale of electricity and produce over $256 million US dollars in electricity revenue and power over 30,000 area homes. The government can process over 7.5 million tons of waste, which, if landfilled, would have occupied 190 acres of land 100 feet deep. It can recover and recycle over 128,000 tons of ferrous metal and 800 tons of non-ferrous metal to be used in buildings for government interests. It will generate 4.4 billion kilowatt hours of electricity, enough to power a county's home for 3 years. Producing electricity is only one reason to burn MSW. Burning waste also reduces the amount of material that would probably be buried in landfills. Burning MSW reduces the volume of waste by about 87%. In conclusion, the government owning and recycling garbage into energy public utility electricity plant providing electricity to residents is a good idea because it will make electricity cheaper to residents. The government can set a cheaper price for residents because it can produce electricity cheaper. It will give more land to farmers and other use, cutting down landfill space. It will save the government money because it will no longer have to subsidize energy plants. It will increase revenue and the means for government by supplying electricity to the public.